dialogue between the host and the listeners about their relationships. This show is not an attempt to assess, diagnose, or treat any mental health or illness condition. Please consult your physician, psychiatrist, or psychotherapist for personal matters.
Inner Voice, a heartfelt chat with Dr. Foojan.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Inner Voice Show. I'm Dr. Foojan Zeine and have Sean in studio with me. This is a show about what matters most in life, our minds, our thoughts, feelings, actions, relationships, and the way that we can be fulfilled in this beautiful journey of life and create a fulfilling life even for the people who are around us. Today at this show, I'll bring you the latest research about how we actually prove to ourselves whether what we say is the reality or not. It's an interesting research. And then we'll talk to Dr. Habib Sadeghi, who is a physician, a holistic physician, and the author of the book Within, the spiritual journey to love and weight loss. Yes, to love and weight loss, which is, I needed both. And I figure almost everybody definitely needs love. Not everybody might need weight loss. So it will be a great show. I hope that you guys can also call us at 951-922-3532. But before we actually start the show, I wanted to let you know about the online coaching and online therapy. Anyone who's in California, I can definitely have online sessions with them, do therapy, and people who are around the world. I'm enjoying talking to them and coaching as a life coach, working on a lot of the areas of their life that they might kind of need support in, might not necessarily have all strengths, or they might have some obstacles around them. I'm putting my awareness integration model, which is a model that's been tested in many universities and has created the result of minimizing depression and anxiety, really boosting self-esteem and self-efficacy. And it's worked in a psychotherapy model, it's worked in a coaching model. And I'm bringing that to online as a module of 12 steps, actually, 12 weeks, 12 sessions of the online for awareness integration model, and kind of with half a price. So that's really available for all of you to start with, and bringing a really in-depth work where you can actually look at the different aspects of your life, gain the tools of how to integrate those aspects of yourself, and figure out amazing visions and goals for yourself, an action plan, and in the comfort of your home, because we're going to do it online and it's efficient. And I'm even giving you a package that is worth about $2,500 for only $1,200 for the 12 sessions. So that's going to be available for you starting the month of November. So this from until November, you have the opportunity to connect with me and go for it. And we can start the October. I'm on leave. I'm going on a couple of long trips, but we could definitely start it as soon as you like. So go to my website and call me 818-648-2140 or email me at foojanzeine@gmail.com and ask any questions that you like. I'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions about the awareness integration model. The book that you also hear in the show, Life Reset, is the awareness integration path. It's an exercise, and with that package, I'll actually send you the book so we can also go through the book together and the exercises. So I'm bringing it, making it really easy, efficient, effortless for all of you to have. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the latest research.
Were you recently injured in a car accident? Then you need the law offices of REF Datacar for your free case evaluation. Don't let the medical bills pile up, and don't let the insurance companies try to settle your claim for a few $100s. Call 714 464-3246. The law offices of Arya Thadakar serves all of California. If they don't win, you don't pay. So call now, 714-464-3246. This is a paid-for attorney advertisement by the law offices of Arya Thadakar of Orange, California. Dr. Foojan Zeine is a psychotherapist, a marriage and family therapist, and a life coach with more than 27 years of experience. She is the author of the Awareness Integration Model, which has been researched and published in numerous international journals. Dr. Foojan has offices in Beverly Hills, Irvine, and Woodland Hills, California, and also consults online and by telephone. Make an appointment with her today by calling 818-648-2140 or go online to www.foojan.com. That's www.foojan.com.
Welcome back to the Inner Voice Show. I'm Dr. Foojan Zeine. Now, the latest research that has come up, ever wonder why flat earthers, birthers, climate change, and Holocaust deniers stick to their beliefs in the face of overwhelming evidence to the contrary? New findings from researchers at the University of California, Berkeley, suggest that feedback rather than hard evidence boosts people's sense of certainty when learning new things or trying to tell right from wrong. Now, developmental psychologists have found that people's beliefs are more likely to be reinforced by the positive or negative reactions they receive in response to an opinion, task, or interaction than by logic, reasoning, and scientific data. Their findings, published today in the online issue of the journal Open Mind, shed new light on how people handle information that challenges their worldview and how certain learning habits can limit one's intellectual horizons. Now, if you think you know a lot about something, even though you don't, you're less likely to be curious enough to explore the topic further and will fail to learn how little you know. This cognitive dynamic can play out in all walks of actual and virtual life, including social media and cable news echo chambers, and may explain why some people are easily duped by charlatans. If you use a crazy theory to make a correct prediction a couple of times, you can get stuck in that belief and may not be interested in gathering more information. Specifically, the study examined what influences people's certainty while learning. It found that study participants' confidence was based on their most recent performance rather than long-term cumulative results. For the study, more than 500 adults recruited online through Amazon's Mechanical Turk crowdsourcing platform looked at the different combination of colored shapes on their computer screens. The final result, I'm not going to go through the mechanism of the study. I'm not sure if you're interested in every aspect of how they actually did this study, but I'll tell you the results. The final results showed that participants consistently based their certainty on whether they had correctly identified during the last 4 or 5 guesses instead of all information they had gathered throughout. What I found interesting is that they could get the first 19 guesses in the row wrong, but if they got the last 5 right, they felt very confident about creating a method and a theory in their head. They weren't using most of what they learned to inform their certainty. An ideal learner's certainty would be based on observation amassed over time, as well as the short-term feedback. So if your goal is to arrive at the truth, the strategy of using the most recent feedback rather than all of the data you've accumulated is really not a great tactic. Now, you can see that a lot, even when we're talking about social media and the truth. The social media where it can give you, if 5 people in your own group in the social media actually wrote something which it wasn't even accurate, or sent down some pictures which just were even accurate, but because in the recent day you got bombarded with a lot of the same information, you're going to tend to believe and actually make that into the true reality for yourself, and even recite it as the truth and the reality, versus going furthermore and looking at what the facts are. And even if you had received more facts from before, which were different, if at a certain time in a short time you were bombarded with a lot, or you gained information, or you went after only parts of the truth, then you're going to believe that part of the truth versus the bigger picture of the truth. And that's how our brain works. And also with the predictions of, because our brain has the capacity to predict, or at least it has the illusion that it can predict, and in order to feel safe, it brings the information, even though it might be a fallacy, into their own realm of reality and making that the truth. Now, the brain needs to do that in order to feel the certainty and safety. However, I think that it's important for us to also look at the facts and the reality, because many of us live under our own illusions reality, which sometimes is harsher and harder than actually what's going on out there. And sometimes our own reality of who we are has been based on something that is not real, especially if we are very, very harsh to ourselves. And if we have amazing relationships and work and all of that, which is out there as a fact for us, those are our results. But if we don't believe it and we have this reality that I'm not good enough, I can't do it, I'll never get there, I'm not destined to do it, and all of those other negative realities that we've created for ourselves, then we live in a harsher reality than actuality. So going by facts, doing reality check out there, it makes life much simpler. And if there's anything that we have to do in order to confront whatever is out there, then we need to know what reality is so we can create our actions according to what we need to do. Wouldn't it be weird if we acted upon some sort of a fantasy inside which is not accurate versus what it really is? So knowing that about ourselves, I think that my suggestion is, looking at the data, is to go and start looking at more data about things that you're interested in before making decisions, gain the scientific or the logical, and what's kind of like agreed upon outside, so that you can make decisions better for yourself and make a successful life for yourself and everyone around you. Because if you're happy, guess what? You'll probably make a lot of people around you happy. And if you're miserable, it's contagious. You're going to make a lot of people miserable around you too. But you're important, and let's start looking at the reality of your life and the reality that's out there, so we can kind of integrate those. And sometimes it's just easier to live with that versus our illusionary concept. We're going to be back with Dr. Habib Sadeghi, which they call him the old soul doctor. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Have you ever wished you could just wake up one day, reach across your nightstand, and hit the life reset button? Let's face it, the struggles and frustrations of everyday life leave millions of women and men around the globe yearning for a new way. And the new way is right here in Life Reset, the awareness integration path to create the life you want, by Dr. Foojan Zeine. You can get it now at Foojan.com or Amazon.com. Life Reset, the awareness integration path to create the life you want. You deserve it.
Join the conversation every Monday afternoon at 3 p.m. Pacific for Inner Voice Heartfelt Chat with Dr. Foojan. Dr. Foojan has a direct approach to getting you to free your mind. Inner Voice is a live call-in show where you can chat about your life and all that matters to you in your relationships. Inner Voice Heartfelt Chat with Dr. Foojan, Monday afternoons at 3 p.m. Pacific on Smart Talk, KMET 1490 AM, and on the Internet stream.
Dr. Foojan Zeine is a psychotherapist, a marriage and family therapist, and a life coach with more than 27 years of experience. She is the author of the Awareness Integration Model, which has been researched and published in numerous international journals. Dr. Foojan has offices in Beverly Hills, Irvine, and Woodland Hills, California, and also consults online and by telephone. Make an appointment with her today by calling 818-648-2140 or go online to www.foojan.com. That's www.foojan.com. Were you recently injured in a car accident? Then you need the law offices of Aria Thadakar for your free case evaluation. Don't let the medical bills pile up, and don't let the insurance companies try to settle your claim for a few $100s. Call 714-464-3246. The law offices of Aria Thadakar serves all of California. If they don't win, you don't pay. So call now, 714-464-3246. This is a paid-for attorney advertisement by the law offices of Aria Thadakar of Orange, California.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Don't miss out on the free KMET smartphone apps. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
Welcome back to the Inner Voice Show. I'm Dr. Foojan Zeine. We can't find Dr. Habib Sadeghi, I guess. We'll be waiting for him. He's an old soul, so he might be hovering around us somewhere, and hopefully we'll be calling in. I think might be some technical difficulties, but if he's not here, we'll just you and I chat, and you're more than welcome to call 951-922-3532, and we can go ahead and chat together until hopefully he shows up and we can get to talk to him about his latest book, which is called Within. So I've been talking to a lot of the clients online, actually, this morning. I had from 8 o'clock to now, I've been talking to different people from different places in the world, from China, from Hong Kong, and Los Angeles. And it's interesting that for me, there's a difference between the online where you talk on the phone, or as we talk on face-to-face, like Skype or FaceTime. And even doing chat, which has been amazing. And we've been working very deep, going back and forth on live chat, actually. So it's just been an exciting way of connecting with you guys. So go ahead and connect with me via my website, foojan.com. So we can get going with giving you the awareness integration path in 12 sessions. So all the technical difficulties have gotten fixed. And Dr. Habib Sadeghi is here with us. He's the founder of Beehive of Healing Integrative Medical Center in Agora Hills. Now, his celebrity fans are set to include Stella McCartney, Emily Blunt, Simon Cowell, Rihanna, and Gwyneth Paltrow. Now, he specializes in multidisciplinary approach to chronic illnesses such as cancer and autoimmune disease with comprehensive treatment protocols that incorporate a wide range of interventions. His success in integrating Eastern and Western treatment modalities has earned him a respected reputation, resulting in patient base that reaches around the world. With a master's degree in spiritual psychology, emphasizing in consciousness, health, and healing, Dr. Sadeghi's philosophy of physical healing places equal importance on the aspect of the psychological well-being of the patient, particularly as it relates to unresolved past emotional traumas through individualized psycho-spiritual exploration and reconciliation combined with prescribed medical interventions. He has achieved impressive results in patients suffering from serious chronic illnesses. When the mind and the heart heal, the body responds to treatment in a new way. As such, Dr. Sadeghi is a frequent presenter and sought-after expert with an international holistic medical community on psychosomatic illnesses and the phenomena of somaticizing unresolved emotional trauma into physical disease. He is the co-founder of Love Button, a global movement and nonprofit organization that promotes loving action and philanthropy within communities to improve social cohesion. And he has served as an attending physician at UCLA Santa Monica Medical Center and is currently a clinical instructor of family medicine at Western University of Health Sciences. He's the author of 2 books, The Clarity Cleanse, I gotta get that one, 12 Steps to Finding Renewed Energy, Spiritual Fulfillment, and Emotional Healing, and definitely this one, the latest, Within, A Spiritual Awakening to Love and Weight Loss. Welcome to my show, Dr. Sadeghi.
Hi, Dr. Zeine. It's such a pleasure to be here. I know that I was running late, and I really appreciate the soft landing and your generosity of supporting me. So it's really my privilege to be here.
Oh, thank you. I know you're very, very busy, and your generosity of giving us your time. I know that you're doing a lot of things for a lot of people, and people who have come to your centers, they've all enjoyed the way that they have been healed, in a sense. Now, I'm really excited. Tell us a little bit about Beehive, the Healing Center, and your latest book, Within, because I'm definitely interested in love and definitely in weight loss, both of them together.
Sure, I'll be more than happy to, and I appreciate that generous introduction that you had for your listeners. Just in service of support, I know sometimes the Within was the first book that came out in 2012, and the latest book is The Clarity Cleanse, but they really have a lot in common. The thesis of both books is the same, which is, as very eloquently you brought it forward, was that, look, I mean, there's this coin of healing has 2 sides. On one side is the body, and if you flip it over, the other side is the mind. And, and that embodies this concept of Beehive of Healing, which really, it was a coin that we termed. It's a hive gathering of beings for the purpose of healing. We have doctors of osteopathy, medical doctors. We have traditional Oriental medical doctors and acupuncturists. We have massage therapists. My wife is a pediatric dentist orthodontist. We have myofunctional therapists. And so when you look at the whole body, when you look at the connection of the psyche, the soma, the mind, and then, we listen to the patient in terms of their biography, the traumas, what they've gone through, and how those traumas might be contributing to the biological terrain that they bring with them. So that, in a nutshell, is what Beehive of Healing is all about.
Wonderful. And I think that I've heard people who talk about the elements of you're bringing many of these psychological healing. You're bringing massage meditation, and then you also bringing the medical advice of the Eastern and the Western world together, right?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And I think it's time. I think it's really time for us to have a more integrative approach when it comes to healing and health.
Great. So the latest book, then, it's The Cleanse, the Clarity Cleanse, which was actually forwarded by Gwyneth Paltrow. And this is the 12 steps to finding renewed energy, spiritual fulfillment, and emotional healing. Tell us about how did you come to the Clarity Cleanse, and what does it do for us?
Excellent. So the book basically captures my journey. When I was second year in medical school, I was diagnosed with stage 3 testicular cancer. And at the time, just to create the background for your listener, at the time, Scott Hamilton, the gold medal skater, nearly died from testicular cancer. Neil Armstrong nearly died. I mean, he lost part of his lungs, part of his brain and this was all from testicular cancer metastasizing. So here I am, I'm second year medical school, and I'm diagnosed with this. And what was recommended for me at the time, and this is not something that I'm advocating for everyone, this was just, for me, it just seemed so excessive. They wanted to do a procedure which was 16 hours. They wanted to cut my gut open, take out everything. It's called letoperitoneal lymphadenectomy. It's 16-hour surgery and then 4 cycles of chemotherapy and radiation, and I chose not to do that. And I chose to do it differently. I took a sabbatical from medical school. I started traveling. I ended up in Mexico. I studied with a curandero, or a shaman, or a medicine man. I ended up in India. I studied Ayurvedic medicine, Tibetan medicine. I studied anthroposophical medicine and German New Medicine. I traveled to Europe. And part of that, and obviously it worked for me and it saved my life, I was told that I would never have babies. My wife and I, we have 2 children, Hafez, 11, and Hannah, who just turned 5. So, so this is really, and so the book captures what I went through, and there are specific steps that I learned, and they're as simple as a way of journaling. I mean, now we know University of Oregon has published several research. There's a whole branch of medicine coming out of Columbia Medical School referred to as narrative medicine. We know that this whole process of writing, there's just so much healing. And this specific form of journaling, I refer to it as purged emotional writing. And I recommend 12 minutes a day, where we really access the parts of us in the psyche that we don't have access to be able to connect with it and to really give ourselves the dignity of our process in service of healing. And that really, the book captures my own healing, as a physician. And it was a way of giving back. I feel very blessed. I've had the privilege of helping a lot of people, some with significant zone of influence. And there are people all over the world that they may not have access to me, but they may be listening to you. So the book was an opportunity of allowing everyone to have access to these documented, very scientifically backed protocols that they can do to support themselves.
Now, as I'm going through the content of the book, you talk about, first of all, taking responsibility and being clear and creating clarity. And I think that is so important in first, the 2 words. One, getting clear, and clarity is important, and the awareness of that awakening of that part of you that needs to be clear and come out of our denial in that way. I know, for example, for me, I noticed that how much I put so much weight on my work, and I put such a discipline into my work, in the hours, in learning, implementing, and doing all of that. And I do 0 of that when it comes to the discipline that my body needs in eating and exercising and taking care of myself. And as long as I'm not getting off of that denial and I'm not becoming responsible for that part of my life, which is the most important, this vehicle that is here, that I wouldn't necessarily be able to do anything about it. So one is clarity, and you explain what clarity is and the clarity mindset in a sense. And then from there, you go into the process of creating the clarity, which is taking responsibility for the emotional stuff that happens constantly. And then how do you cleanse your body and cleanse your mind? Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
Sure, of course. The book starts with a metaphor and a question. For instance, let's say you come over to be Hypo Healing, or you're hosting one of your elite speakers, and you want to make some tea for them, or I want to make some tea for you, or one of your listeners wants to make some tea. When you look at that, what we need to make tea is actually three things. Most people focus on having the right tea or the tea bag and having the right water, the pH of the water, how hot it is. But what is always there and yet invisible to our eyes is the cup. And, the cup actually is the most important aspect of that process of brewing the tea. If there is no cup, there is no tea. So, and we really forget about that. The cup, and that's the cover of the book. The cover of the book is just an empty cup.
Yes.
The cover of the book symbolizes the uterus, symbolizes the womb, symbolizes the container that Wilfred Bion, the great psychoanalyst, described as the whole idea of containing. If a human being is going through a process, an experience, and if they cannot contain it, they get overwhelmed. Just like if we don't have a cup, we can't brew a tea. So the book is divided up. The first part is explaining what a container and containment is. The second part is taking responsibility. I mean, I can't tell you how many people come to see me and they're describing the suffering that they've gone through or they're going through now, and they're literally or verbalizing how they cannot, stomach their partner or their colleague at work. And the reason they come to see me is for acid reflux. And, I don't think it's a far-fetched idea that, not being able to stomach what's on their plate, whether it's a challenging relationship at home or personal life or at work, has a correlation and contributes to their acid reflux or gastroesophageal acid reflux. So taking responsibility is really seeing the connection between our mind and body. And then the second part of the book, it goes into what I refer to as IU Diet, which it's an acronym, stands for Intentional Unsaturation Diet. And it basically walks us through a set of, there's a way that we can eat that will allow us to thin out. And I can't tell you how many women they've gotten pregnant simply by just doing this diet. And there's no secret. I mean, and it's scientifically based. And what it does, to the extent that, let's say, the women that I have seen in this particular case, and they have a very thick cervical mucosa. In other words, they have the secretion in their cervix is too thick. That could prevent the process of fertilization of the egg by the sperm, and that could contribute, or it could be one of the leading cause of infertility. I can't tell you how many people are suffering from insomnia or sinusitis, inflammation of their sinuses. And by simply doing this gentle diet, they can get their body back. They can get rid of the muck that they accumulate on the surface of their sinuses. So, and it's really simple. It just walks you through it in terms of how to eat. It helps us in terms of reflecting back emotionally and looking at the areas in our lives that we want to bring more loving and healing to.
When you're talking about the clarity of creating that health concept, you're also talking about you can give people tools. You can give them the system of a diet, a simple one, an effortless one, and all of that. But you're also talking about a part of a person who doesn't do it or blocks it or creates some issues around it. And how do you handle in your practice as a physician in that area where you give people tools, but somehow they just won't do it? What do you look at then? What type of clarity do you look after that?
Sure. So what you're bringing forward is very common. There are people that look. I mean, you look at you go and we can pick up a pack of cigarettes, and right on every single pack of cigarettes, it bold. It tells Surgeon General. Yeah, warning. Literally, you're absolutely right. It says warning, Surgeon General, and that you get lung cancer, you get this. a Cold 40 or a Smirnoff, vodka, whatever alcoholic beverage of your choice. You pick it up. Here's another warning, Surgeon General. But how many people are smoking excessively as we're speaking now? How many people are drinking alcoholic beverages excessively now? So you're bringing a great conversation, and that is, it's not really the knowledge or the information that shifts or changes anything. And I completely agree with you. You see, what makes the difference is when people are actually touched, moved, and inspired. And I really think that that's the thought. So if they have the information and they see that there's resistance and they don't want to do it, looking at that, looking at why that is, from a place of gentility, from a place of self-love, self-acceptance, self-forgiveness, I think that's when things will start melting away. Because I actually truly believe that most human beings, we're all doing the best that we can, given our consciousness, our evolution on this planet. So instead of wanting to bully them or corner them or subdue them, my modus operandi is to bring what I refer to as self-love, self-LAF, which stands for self-love, self-acceptance, and self-forgiveness. And in that context of self-love, self-acceptance, self-forgiveness, self-gentility, they see what are the judgments that they're holding against themselves. And then things will start peeling away, and they get engaged in their lives. And then all of a sudden, we're not self-medicating by smoking, profusely, or drinking profusely, or eating, to numb ourselves. Then what we've got is clarity. Then what we got is being engaged, being responsible in our lives, and realizing that life is so precious, and it's so brief, really. I mean, it's just, I get goosebumps realizing that there's only 13 weeks left to 2018. It's unbelievable how quickly days are going by. So realizing the brevity of life and the preciousness of life, it supports us to be re-engaged and to be authentic and to start looking at, is this the way that I'm living my life? And I'm happy with it. Yes. And if I'm not, then I can be engaged and choose differently.
And I'm sensing that we're going by the assumption that if someone is mentally healthy and they know themselves and they do love themselves, that they won't harm themselves, that when the information is given to them in how to take care of that cup, of that vehicle that they have, which is their body and their psyche, that they would take care of it, that some people don't have the information, and when you give them the information, it helps and moves. Some people just don't think they're deserving, or they're upset with themselves. They haven't forgiven themselves, so they think that they should be punishing themselves or just numbing the pain without, and that they deserve the pain in a sense. And when you clear the mindset and create a space of love and forgiveness for that person, then they're more apt to open themselves up into a space of healing and taking care of their body and their essence, and others around them. And I know that your first name is Habib Love, and then you have also begin this nonprofit organization, the Movement of Love Button, and the way that you approach everyone, in a sense, is through that type of an intense and familiar love that you give them, which, sometimes it's startling for people who come close to you and they're not used to this level of an expression of love. So hang in there, and everyone who's listening, don't go anywhere. We're going to continue with Dr. Sadeghi and talking about the essence of how the energy of love, the essence of love actions, love expressions supports this type of healing. We'll be right back.
Zeine is a psychotherapist, a marriage and family therapist, and a life coach with more than 27 years of experience. She is the author of the Awareness Integration Model, which has been researched and published in numerous international journals. Dr. Foojan has offices in Beverly Hills, Irvine, and Woodland Hills, California, and also consults online and by telephone. Make an appointment with her today by calling 818-648-2140 or go online to www.foojan.com. That's www.foojan.com. Were you recently injured in a car accident? Then you need the law offices of Aria Thadakar for your free case evaluation. Don't let the medical bills pile up, and don't let the insurance companies try to settle your claim for a few $100s. Call 714-464-3246. The law offices of Aria Thadakar serves all of California. If they don't win, you don't pay. So call now, 714-464-3246. This is a paid-for attorney advertisement by the law offices of Aria Thadakar of Orange, California.
Welcome back, everybody, to Inner Voice Show. I'm Dr. Foojan Zeine, and speaking with Dr. Habib Sadeghi, the old soul doctor, who's a founder of Beehive of Healing Integrative Medical Center in Agora Hills, and the founder of Love Button Movement. So, Dr. Sadeghi, can you talk a little bit about the concept of Love Button Movement and the concept of love that is your full expression all the time, and you have brought it into a fuller expression in the world, where a lot of the celebrities out there make sure that they wear the love button, they talk about love, and they bring it and make it part of their every moment of life. Can you talk about that a bit, and what happened that's what you decided to consistently express?
Absolutely. Yeah, I talk about this. This was really an important part of my journey, and I captured it in the book, The Clarity Cleanse. And it started with being diagnosed with cancer and really sitting across from my anatomy partner, Gary. And Gary had a conversation with me, and, he looked at me and he said, "He who hasn't loved hasn't known God, for God is love." And it created something for me, this idea of God as a loving God, rather than what I was used to, which was a punitive God. So part of that was it turned into a little sticker that simply just said love, for me to be reminded of this loving God. And then eventually it turned into a pen and a love button. And we felt very blessed and privileged when Super Bowl 50, 75,000 people were given love buttons by Chris Martin and the group Coldplay that performed at halftime Super Bowl. And every single person in the stadium on both sides, they held a colored black card that basically spelled "Believe in Love." And that's the logo of Love Button Global Movement. And the intent behind it was the tagline, "Pause and Love." Let's face it, every single one of us, we're so busy. We're bombarded with information, text, emails, voicemails, and Facebook, IM, DM, this, that. And I think that's really one of the diseases of modern world. So this idea of creating, of stopping, and creating the clarity, this spaciousness, and holding the intention of loving is behind the movement. And then we contribute to several organizations. We train other physicians to focus on taking this concept of loving into their practice. We're starting an endowment at Cal Poly Pomona that works with the college students. We have an endowment through UCLA Harbor that funds the women and children who are going through some oncological procedures. They have cancers, and they're underserved, and they cannot get some of alternative treatments such as a wig. So they can do that through Love Button. And so that is the movement. And obviously Rumi, the mystic poet Rumi, plays a role because one of his poems that we use quite often and we cite is a poem that the translation by our dear friend Coleman Barr, who gave an endorsement for the Claire de Quince, is out beyond ideas of right doing and wrongdoing, there is a field. We'll meet you there. So this field that doesn't have anything to do with duality. I'm this way, you're that way, the up, down, black, white. There is a field that is the field of unity, of loving, and that's really how we hold love.
And I know that you are having some events and some fundraising event for the Love Button movement. Can you talk a little bit about that, and where is it, and when is it that people can come in, and if they can't come to the event itself, how can they support this movement of Love Buttons?
Absolutely. So we're actually celebrating Rumi's birthday. His birthday is end of September, and on October 2nd at 7:30 p.m. at the Ellie and Edith Broad stage in Santa Monica, 1310 11th Street, Santa Monica, California. We're having an event, and it's basically reciting poetry of Rumi and other mystics and ecstatic dance and just coming together and holding what it means to have a community that is based on love, brotherhood, and sisterhood. We'll have rabbis, we'll have ministers, we'll have people that will be there, and they call in the light, especially during these holy days, so that all of us can symbolize the essence of loving.
Beautiful. Would that be on the Love Button website? If people needed to know the address, and if they're driving right now and they can't get it, would that address and the event information be at the Love Button website?
Absolutely. The website is, the organization is Love Button Global Movement. The website is www.lovebutton.org, organization. And they can go there, and all that information is there, and that they can find out exactly. They can purchase tickets. They can, and even if they want to volunteer or if they want to donate for this specific cause, whether it's educational or whether it's the medical component, everything is out there that they can take a look at.
So they can either go to beehivehealing.com to know about the healing center, and if they want to support the Love Button movement, they go to lovebutton.org and know about the latest programs and philanthropy causes and the things that the whole Love Button movement does, but also to support it financially and physically, with their heart, with their vision and intention, and if they are in Santa Monica and they choose to go, to get the information to be there. Dr. Sadeghi, you have been called the old soul doctor, and it seems like there is a part of you that resides in the space of love and healing for yourself and others. And obviously this started with you, with your own body, and then it's expanding to everyone who comes to be around you. If there was one sentence or one point that you wanted to give our audience today that they could take in their heart and utilize it in every aspect of their life, what would that be?
I think the most important thing, and this is something that I whisper to myself every day, it's really the Cliff Notes version from A Course in Miracles. And it's 3 lines. It's nothing real can be threatened. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. So nothing real can be threatened. That there is a destiny, there is a harmony, there is that every single one of us, we have, we have a soul curriculum, that we're here as souls having a human experience, just like a seed that gets planted, and this acorn goes through a process and sometimes dark night of the soul before it germinates and it becomes an oak tree. Nothing real can be threatened. And then the second part is nothing unreal exists, that there are no accidents. And understanding that there are no accidents, then we actually slow down and we allow our experiences to deepen, and we open things up to really see the symbolic and metaphorical nature, which really gives a greater depth to our life. And that's really the essence of logotherapy, or what Viktor Frankl, this incredible man that survived concentration camp and wrote Man's Search for Meaning, captured for us. And accepting these two lines, herein lies the peace of God. Accepting these two things would create a space of clarity in us, we will refer to as divinity or God.
Yes. It's interesting because at the beginning of the show, we had this latest research that have come up, and it says that people will focus on something that it could even be unreal, but they would focus because the feedback from outside just recently has told them that it came in front of them, so they take what's the feedback in front of them and make it real for themselves. And what I'm hearing from you is what's real is real, and no matter how much illusions you have, the reality will be there. If there are areas that are unreal, then you can look at it as it's not an accident that it's here, you're thinking about it that way, or that has come to your life, and how can you utilize it to make yourself better and higher, and create and connect with that reality that is. It is such a beautiful experience to have you on the show. I've had you on the show talking about Love Button before. I'm definitely getting your books and reading it and talking to you about it more and more. So thank you for being in our show.
It's such a privilege. And what your listeners may not know is that you were one of my first mentors. Way before I went to medical school or went through all these processes. So the beauty, the grace, the wisdom that you've really invested in cultivation of my consciousness, I'm very grateful, and it's my privilege to be on your show, Dr. Zeine. Thank
you for your generosity. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your life. I'm grateful for you being part of my life. And for all of you who are listening, again, I'm grateful for you allowing us to be part of yours. Until next week, create an amazing life for yourself and everyone around you. Remember, create love and go to lovebutton.org. Take good care of yourself. Bye-bye.
The Inner Voice Show is a dialogue between the host and the listeners about their relationships. This show is not an attempt to assess, diagnose, or treat any mental health or illness condition. Please consult your physician, psychiatrist, or psychotherapist for personal matters.
This is 1490 AM KMET, Banning, Beaumont, Redlands, and Palm Springs. News, talk, sports.
News. I'm Daria Albinger, getting ready for a Category 4 hurricane. Florence packing winds of 140 miles an hour.
People, we need to prepare. We still have time now to prepare. We urge you to do that.
South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster ordering the entire